I've got some thoughts for you here on the game. State's win over Arizona State, and then the film study. Here's the time code. Jump ahead of the plays in the film study if you want. First, a few thoughts here on the game, wrapping it up. Everything here on the channel is made possible by your Mississippi Farm Bureau insurance agents, your local agents in Mississippi. Go with the home team. Pretty obvious. Mississippi State dominated the first half of the ball game except for the final minute. Conversely, Arizona State dominated the second half of the game except for the final 2 minutes. In other words, 29 minutes of domination for State in the first half. That's Mississippi State. 28 minutes of domination for Arizona State in the second half. And that's why you had a tie game with a minute and a half or 2 minutes left. State gets a goal line stop. It was the first time in the second half State did anything really on either side of the ball, was that goal line stop with less than 2 minutes to force a field goal. You're down by 3, and then you go score to win the ball game with less than a minute left. It happened really quickly. So that's sort of the synopsis. Now, one more thought for you here. I think the film shows you Mississippi State, their coaching staff, especially defensively, outcoached and out-schemed Arizona State in the first half. They did. In the second half, coming out of the locker room, like I said, Arizona State dominated the most part of that second half. They didn't necessarily outcoach or out-scheme Mississippi State in the second half. What they did was they simplified, particularly on offense, and they were much more physical. Their offensive line, defensive line. It wasn't an flipping the out-scheming, out-coaching part of it for Kenny Dillingham and his staff in the third and fourth quarters. It was simplifying and simply just getting more out of their bigger, better athletes. And frankly, Arizona State's offensive, defensive lines, bigger, better athletes than what State had overall. And they relied on that, and that's how they totally turned that game around. And that's why, again, it's so impressive to me what that Mississippi State defense did with 2 minutes left in the game with their heels on their own goal line. You know, I said after the game on the radio, this is going to be known as the Brennan Thompson game. 2 touchdown catches, 2 unbelievable ones, particularly that last play. And it will be. But I think really the guts of the story is that Mississippi State defense to have been chewed up and spit out the entire second half the way they were, and with 2 minutes left in the game, heels on their own goal line, to dig in and not give up a touchdown right there. It's an all-timer defensive performance. All right, let's get into the film study. Here are some of the plays, and it's only a handful of plays that sort of tell the highlights of the story of the game. We'd be here for 2 days trying to do every important play throughout the game, particularly showing all those successful running plays for Arizona State in the third and fourth quarters. So here are kind of the highlights of the game from the Mississippi State perspective in the film study. Let's see what you think. Get the 0 off the board. First possession of the game. Touchdown pass to Anthony Evans, third. Vertical against zone, cover 3. Catch it, cut the inside, outrun the safety. It looks a lot like what we saw at the end of the game, and a lot of similarities to how they opened the scoring last week against Southern Miss. It was just top of the field to tie it in. You know, if you think about it, last week Southern Miss, right off the bat, it was right there. Traore, except he was running the vertical. This time it's the other side of the field. Here's what you have. Cover 3 zone. So that corner's got that deep third. Safety's got the deep third in the middle. This corner's going to be responsible for that deep third. Zone underneath, and they're lining up with 6 in the box. So it's just kind of a soft look defensively. And the routes, it's a great possibility that these are, there's some reads built in here for these guys. You're getting soft corners, so these guys are stopping on the outside. Maybe that's a read. If they drop, I stay up here and come back to the football. Maybe it is. And both insides, you see zone, one's breaking in, and then, of course, here to the field, we're running. And with that single safety coming over, it's a matter of, do we get behind this underneath zone defender, and it's just like a hole shot against cover 2, except instead of being, out here on the numbers away from the safety, it's a little bit more inside here. It's just like a hole shot that you see against cover 2. Protection holds up. There's a little pump fake in there too. If you look at, let's turn your eyes over here and just watch Shapen the quarterback right here. Watch his action. A little bit of a pump fake right there outside. See that? It just helps to clear the picture. I mean, it's zone coverage, so it's not man-to-man. No, nobody's jumping routes. Now, all zone turns into man coverage at some point, but that little, shoulder shimmy right there to the outside, that little shake, boom, to the outside, watch what it does and talk about clearing the picture. I mentioned it's cover 3, right? So that's their responsibility. These are deep guys. This is a responsibility. Watch this corner. When he sees this shoulder pump, he flies up here to the underneath, like jumps all over it. Boom, he's forward. See that? So that really clears the picture as well. So now we got what we want. Safety in the middle of the field, big hole right here. Do I hit him with the football? And if I do, where is it? Because, as a quarterback, if you think, okay, safety's in the middle, I'm going to go ball this thing up the sideline. Well, maybe you catch it, but he's going to come over and have a chance to, make a play on the ball. Because you drill it to him at the 30, you got 5 yards of space, and this is, if you can ever in any way create this matchup right here, and that is this guy right here with the football, okay, 4 to 5 yards away from the nearest defender, this is one of the best scenarios you can have on this offense right here. Is ball in his hands, nearest defender 5 yards, nobody's catching him. So a great way to start the ball game, 7-zip. This is going to be an example of the kind of defense State was playing in the first half. 1st and 10 right here. This is going to be a 3-and-out sequence. We'll just take a look. First down play, State with a deep safety. They're playing a zone coverage, but they're bringing a little pressure off the edge with a 7-man box, meet the ball carrier in the backfield, and you get a stop. They are pulling from their left side a guard and an H-back tight end for a counter play going back to their right. And so you look pre-snap alignment on this first down play. You've started with 3 eligible receivers this side motioning across, so it's like a very heavy trips to one side and single receiver far side. And look what State did. You talk about respect for this one receiver, put that safety all the way back here on top of this, but then go aggressive otherwise. 3 down, 4 in the box right here. And the fourth is Isaac Smith off the edge, and they're going to fire him off the edge right here in this look. And so I mentioned to it, counter, a little delay, you're getting the handoff going back this way to follow pulling guard and then pulling tight end back to that side. You'd think you have enough, and you do have enough. It's just that 2 things happen. One, Isaac Smith off the edge. They don't get to him in time and then sort of turn up inside. And so he's on the legs of the running back right there. The other thing is defensive front is slanting to the boundary. So the 3 guys with their hands down here, Dinkins, the nose here, they're slanting to, their right or the boundary. And when they do that, Dinkins gets into that B gap and they don't pick him up. So he's free to the running back as well. Meet him there, and 2 guys tackle him for no gain. Okay, so that's the first down play. And you come back on 2nd down, they go back into motion, but keep him out there. Same thing, trips into the boundary. Play action pass. He's got all day long with a spy on him and just misses a crosser. And you could see a whole field look. State went just straight coverage look here on the 2nd down play. Just a 3-man rush. Excuse me. Just a 3-man rush right here is all it is. Everybody else. And this is a very interesting look with all these bodies deep in the middle of the field. 2nd and 10. You see that. It's almost like, it's almost like cover 3 with a robber. You could say like a safety in the middle, but you got a robber who's hanging around. He's sort of shaded to the boundary side of his right just because that's where all the receivers lined up. Winds up being a 5-man route, 3 to the boundary and then 2 to the field. That crosser does come open. And because you don't get a pass, one of the reasons you don't get a pass rush is 44 Jennings right here. He's spying the quarterback. So only 3 rushing. His job is to make sure this guy doesn't escape and beat you with his legs here on 2nd and 10. So he's got all day, and he just misses him. That happened a couple of early times in the game, and I think he was just rattled. I don't know if it's atmosphere or noise or what, but he was kind of rattled. Okay, and so then you come to the 3rd down play, 3rd and 10, and then again, look at this. Look, they go trips to the field this time, single receiver into the boundary, and State has nobody in the secondary, at least pre-snap, nobody. Everybody is at or on the line of scrimmage pre-snap. It's a pass, and State's rotating out of there, dropping guys, only rushing 4. It's rushing the 3 or the 4 guys with their hands down right here, and everybody else is looking somebody up, right? So 3rd and 10, you're man-to-man here, man-to-man here, man-to-man here. Okay, somebody's going to jump on this back out of the backfield man-to-man. Tight end stayed in, so that, frees up here. There's all man-to-man, no help. So this is a 0 coverage look with a 4-man rush. It's not like all-out blitz, just kind of muddying the picture. And he chooses the matchup with Kelly Jones into the boundary right here. And Jones has just been really good in, one-on-one coverage down the field, and it's almost a pick. I say he chooses him, but he got flushed, and that's the thing about it is 4-man rush, no twists, anything like that. It's just 2 guys on the edge winning. So I can't really see the number. That may be Sanders here, 37, and then Silla here, 8. But both edge guys, one-on-one, speed rush to the outside, beat it to the quarterback, flush him, really fine job. And you almost get a pick. 3 and out. Up 7-0. You get the ball back here. First quarter. You're going to start what's going to be a field goal drive to go up 10-0. With an RPO, pull it, throw it against zone coverage. You're across midfield, and it's going to lead you into field goal range eventually. And what's interesting about this play to me is it's pretty clear what it is. And you back it up, actually got a wide view. State started with trips to the field, single up in the boundary right on the sideline, but motion the tight end across, and he's going to become a part of your blocking if you were to run the football right here. So, and the other thing you can see is safety in the middle of the field, and they're going to have a zone coverage look with a safety over the top here to the wide side of the field, and then locking up one-on-one man-to-man into the boundary. Okay, so zone to the field, mixing the coverage like everybody does. So you watch the motion go across. Now you got more of a balanced formation, okay, 2 by 2. And this is a chance for, I think, Shapen here to read an RPO, depending on what's in the box. If they're spread out, you get a light box. This is going to be an ISO run play with the tight end up the B gap as your lead blocker. But that's 5 linemen, and the tight end is 6. They've got 7 in the box because of their 4-man front. So it's really, 7 over here on defense versus 6 blockers. They've got numbers. And so it's almost pre-snap going to give you an automatic pull and throw it here if you're Blake. So he pulls it, flips his shoulders to read it. Good job by Reese, right tackle, shove him up the field there, make a pocket. And so what you're getting is he's choosing the zone side of the field where the corner's responsible for deep third. So you're going to get a stop route on the outside. And then against one underneath the zone defender right here, it's a bit of a choice route for Evans. He can go if the safety stays in the middle. He can get around and find that throwing lane kind of right in here. And that's what he does. So a little bit of a choice route on the RPO, pull it, throw it in the middle, big completion. And the deal is, when you're reading this stuff, they're all open. Now, if you go back and look at the corner earlier in the play down here, he's a little tighter, but you have a completion out there. It's just you have a bigger throw in front of the safety. Free safety's coming down and makes the tackle. If he misses that, it's an even bigger play. So there's your, first down play, kind of gets you across midfield, and it leads to a field goal. And you really can't, I don't think, overstate the importance of a guy like Kyle Ferrie, who is starting to sort of be automatic. It's just a 37-yard attempt from right hash, and he just splits. He's been so automatic. Hit a 55-yarder in the opener, the longest in program history. And so this is huge. You get points. You go up 2 scores early. Huge momentum. This is an example of how the first half's going for them. First a graphic that shows with, you're into the second quarter and a 1-for-7 start for 4 yards throwing a football for Leavitt. So you kind of see where they are. It's a really poor start offensively, down 10-0, 3rd and 5 on their own 33-yard line. And it looks like they're finally going to get a big first down, their first third down conversion of the day, and get a little breathing room and maybe, get going here, but they didn't because of offensive pass interference. And it's a little execution thing for them. It's a good call, and they kind of have what they want, right? So, trips to the field, single back, State with a 4-man front, 2 standing up, but a 5th walked up, a 6th in the box, a 7th in the box. So a whole bunch of defenders in here, and the ball's going outside. That's what you want. And the way it's designed, it's not tunnel screen. It's just a little, now screen with 2 big guys blocking right in front of it. The problem is they're already engaged blocking, and he catches it past the line of scrimmage. So there, right off the bat, here we are blocking. When he catches the football, we got 2 blocking downfield. If you complete this thing past the line of scrimmage, then this is the right call. So you draw a line. Let's see where the 33 is on the screen. I don't know if we're going to move here, and we'll see if that stays. Yeah, it moves a little bit. But there you see it. So blocking downfield, he's caught it well past where you snap the ball, and he's caught it well past where it snapped. So that's the right call. Offensive pass interference brings it all back. So that was a conversion. It's not now because of the penalty. So they come down here now. They're now inside their own 20-yard line, ball on the 18. It's 3rd and 20, and now they're going to try to go screen away into the boundary, get blockers out in front of it. State blows it up because they've got a twist called, number 1. Whitson is crossing the face of the guard to create that twist lane here for his buddy. When he does that, they're running a screen. You get a bad snap. That slows it up. Timing's off. He goes across. Nobody touches him. So he's able to, with a couple of teammates, disrupt the timing of the screen pass, and it turns into a sack. Leavitt had no choice. You're punting deep out of your end zone here with State already up 10-0, so State had all the momentum right here. And so huge play. Punt out of their end zone. You got great field position. This is 2nd and 10 out here across the 50 plus territory already. You get the one-on-one goal ball to Thompson up top. They bring a safety down. You got 7-man protection. Perfect throw over the outside shoulder. I mean, this is fastest kid out there, slips down, still runs this ball down. I swear when Blake let it go, I thought he had overthrown it. And when Thompson not only ran it down, but then turned and catches it on the outside shoulder, I mean, it just does not get any better than that. A couple of things about the play that you notice. So the route concept, whether it's called this way or it's what it turns into based on coverage, you get a go ball on this side. You get an in break right here at the first down stick, which was open. And then, of course, inside move and outrun him to the football up the field. The safety can't get back there. And this is a man-free coverage, meaning, these are man-to-man responsibilities here with, the safety is free in the middle of the field. And what they're doing is, late running a safety over here and then firing him off the edge. But State's in 7-man protect, so the tight end and the back are staying in. They're slanting their front away from that. I want to create room for that edge rusher right there. And I think the responsibilities in man-to-man is he's going to have the tight end if he releases. He's going to have the back if he releases. He's free to come so that they can get a 5-man rush. 2 things about it. They called or threw a flag initially for this being a chop block. And the rule being if he's engaged, right, with one blocker, you can't have another hit him in the legs. That would be the call where one's high, one's low, the chop block. But the deal is he engaged right here? Really what you have is Traore, the tight end, passing him off. And at the time that contact is made down low, this, I think this is why they picked it up. You review it. I think there's probably a case to be made that it still is contact high and low at the same time, but it's so close you can see why they picked it up. And it's a really physical deal there, knocking him off of his feet by Fluff Bothwell, the running back for State. And excellent protection otherwise. I would think also that probably the coaching point for Arizona State, I would bet you they're telling these two guys, look, what are you waiting on? Your guys are in. I know you're thinking they may delay release, but at least one of you's got to go ahead and be a little more urgent and go right here and see if you can't break up this pocket and throw. The other thing that is pretty impressive to me, inside release from Brennan Thompson, and he's about to fall down. Right there, he's stumbling. So here's a kid running a go route, catches a 47-yard touchdown, okay, and 4 yards into his route, he stumbles and has to put his hand on the ground to catch himself and still regains his balance and sprints away from the corner, runs by him, and runs this football down that everybody in the stadium's wondering if Blake has overthrown it. It's just an incredible play by Brennan Thompson. 17-0 now, 32 seconds left in the half. And here they are snapping the ball on their own 33-yard line. But they got a big completion. That's what got them going to get in field goal range before the half. It is a 4-man route. I'll show you what State's doing coverage-wise. He threatens to run and then pulls a big throw across the 50 yards after the catch. Now he's inside, the plus 45, and they're a play or two away from kicking a field goal to get on the board before half. And so I told you I'd show you the coverage. What's interesting here, so it's trips to the field, ball on the right hash, and single into the boundary. And pretty typical look, right? State, 2 safeties, near each hash. Looks like, 2 high safeties. Corners are up initially, so it could be cover 2. You could rotate out of it, but your 2 safeties are here. But interestingly, State's really mixing up coverages, trying to make it hard. What they're doing is it is 2 deep. You are going to have 2 deep defenders. It's just not these 2. They're going to snap and rotate those corners and fly out of there. The 2 outside corners are going to fly deep. And these 2 safeties are going to stay kind of where they are and join this underneath zone coverage. So, again, like you say, you still get 2 deep defenders. It's just we're rotating it. It's going to be these 2 who are initially lined up here, and on the snap, the 2 that are deep are actually going to be up. So trying to get a little bit of a confusing look, something they don't account for, and maybe make a mistake. But what it does is, because your cornerback here, Brumfield, on this side of 3 receiver sides, flying out of there, it opens up for that outside receiver to stop in front of him and find that throwing lane when his quarterback moves forward. So there's nothing wrong with the coverage. It's just a play by them. There you see he's thrown it in front, and you've rotated back to not give up the home run throw, and now they're getting close to field goal range. Eventually did kick it, make it 17-3 at half. All right, third quarter. They've gone on a touchdown drive, just rammed it right down State's throat, closed the gap to 17-10. Now they're getting another stop. They get away with a little pass interference here. And I think, this is one of those on a third down play out here near midfield where you're going to get this call if the ball, I think, is a little more in front of the receiver. Now, it still should be called. You can clearly see that back arm's hooking the arm of the receiver. And that's the call is, this is a great job on the front side, but if that back arm is hooking his waist and sort of closing his arm down where he can't lift it, that's supposed to be a call. They gave you a look on TV. So you don't get the call. Third down, you can kind of see it over there. Yeah, he's got his arm pinned, wrapped around a waist. That's supposed to be a pass interference call. So you don't get pass interference on 3rd and 5, and you've got a 4th down and 6 coming up. Offense staying on the field, and the whole plan right here, given the scenario, again, you understand the whole scenario. This is the third quarter that Arizona State dominated offensively and defensively, but especially offensively. They went on the drive where they just shoved it right down your throat. You could not stop them, and it's a 17-10 game. You don't want to give it right back to them. 4th down, just shy of midfield. And so State very intentionally is lining up here to see what you get. And if you get somebody jumping in the neutral zone, get a free play, you'll run it. Otherwise, you're either going to take the delay of game and punt, or, timeout, but most likely take the delay of game and punt right here. So that's what they're trying to do. It's not necessarily full on, let's go for it on fourth down. So right there it is you've got a defender stepping over the edge with a hard count. And the question is he in the neutral zone or not? If you zoom in and look and see, you've even got the center, Cannon Boone. He's watching him the whole way. Okay, and as soon as Boone, this is his job, as soon as he sees what he thinks is in the neutral zone right there, his job is to snap it, and he does. But you don't get the call. Everybody's operating as if you have a free call, a free play here with a free 5 yards, and you don't. Now, also, is he open? Yeah. He's open at basically where, you catch this, come back to the ball, catch it, you got a first down. And if your underneath linebacker defender right here doesn't get a hand on the ball, it's probably a completion. It's going to be bang, bang, but it's probably going to be a completion. It's just he gets a hand on it, knocks it away right there. So really what this came down to was officials who had a good look at it, determining that with the spot of the ball, see, and he's got to look at it. Side judge looking right down the yard line, which is at the state 49. Let's see, let's draw it. So there's the hash, and there's the hash. So I think Boone, the center, is justified in snapping the ball right here and believing that it should have been called as in the neutral zone, and state should have had a free play. But they didn't give it to him, and so it was a stop. More momentum, things going right for Arizona State, and they got a fourth down stop on the plus side of the field in a one-score game, and this was huge for them. All right, so as they had done after that fourth down turnover, they went right on down the field, just punched it right in, tied the game 17-17, got more stops here in the fourth quarter. Here they come right down in clutch time, a long drive, march it right down to the 1. This defense for State at this point of the second half had absolutely been dominated. Third quarter and fourth quarter, 17 unanswered points, 2 touchdown drives back-to-back, 3 scoring drives back-to-back. They had just been dominated at this point. And here they are, 3rd and goal on the goal line, tie game, and have just got to make one play. And Nick Mitchell is a huge part of it. Like he's the genesis of making a play when you absolutely had to have it. Less than 2 minutes, a yard away on the goal line, steps through, gets skinny, hits a running back, and knocks him back. I shouldn't have paused it right there. Again, just keep your eyes on Mitchell here. He's get skinny, get through. He's going to have a blocker on his right shoulder. He's got to hit the running back with his left shoulder. And after 2 solid quarters of getting knocked around themselves this way, he steps in, and you finally are the more physical player here on a key play. Step through, and boom. I'm talking about boom. And then you got others winning where the second effort can't get it done. Look at the job from Jennings up top. He has to make sure that you don't allow for a fake and the quarterback to walk in. His responsibility is edge contained. So he's got to make sure of that first. And so there's a little depending on your teammate. You see that, and now as soon as he sees it, look, now he's to the ball. He's going to help. You got others to the ball here. Who's this? This is going to be, I believe that's Burrows, 88, who the first time he's played all year is the second half of this ball game. Got the center, shed him after the lick, boom, go in there and hit him. There's others that are in on the play as well. But the job that Nick Mitchell did, really as a defense, to get this stop, some people thought he fumbled right there, but he didn't. He was already down, reaching the football, and that's why Reed, fell on top of it. But this stop, you can't overstate how big this 3-down sequence, getting a 3-down stop on the goal line to force a field goal and not give up the touchdown with 1:39 left. It's kind of a season-defining thing. It really is, because it gives you a chance to go win it, which they did. They don't get there. They're kind of leaving him in the gap, but really what they're wanting is you want to block that defensive front. And if you, from 1 yard away, if you can ISO your running back on a linebacker, you're going to take that because you're going to say that head of steam for your running back is going to get you that 1 yard into the end zone right there. Boom. I mean, it's an excellent job. Just boom, deliver the lick, stop the momentum, and now here come the teammates. Trevion in on it as well and get the stop. Just a huge, huge, huge play to hold them to a field goal right there and go down 3 points instead of 7. So then you get down to the play that everybody's talking about. Down 20 to 17 after the field goal. The switch release, the vertical go ball right here that is completed, and then you outrun them to the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. Super dramatic play right here. Brennan Thompson on the outside, switch release, vertical run by him. They try to switch it up, pass it off. There's no safety help in the middle, and throw and catch touchdown, win the ball game. I think there's 30-something seconds left at that point. There is a lot going on, and I remember watching this live. Generally, I always start plays looking at the defense and the line of scrimmage. I'm looking at the number of bodies here and trying to figure out who's coming. Do you have enough to protect? And, I just sort of took for granted that, I looked and there's a safety in the middle of the field. And then when you see the play and there's nobody, like there's no safety help, nothing in the middle of the field, it's hard to figure out without watching this tape what happened. I couldn't figure it out. You go back and watch it again, you can kind of see. And if you start to break it down from the defensive front first, you see that it's really a 3-man front. There's one standing here, 2 down over here, and then the other 3, a 3-3 look in the nickel, they're all walked up. You wonder, okay, are all 6 coming? You're going to have 6-man protection if the back stays in. Who's coming and who's not? They're trying to confuse the protection right here and bring the safety off the hash. That's what's going on. They're giving you a coverage look pre-snap, but then jumping into a pressure look. And when you say pressure, it's only a 5-man rush. But it's just who is the 5. So the 2 who were lined up in the middle, linebackers, they're dropping out of here, right? The defender, this is a 3-receiver side, who was over that 3rd receiver tight end. He's pressuring and blitzing from the next level off the hash. He's coming. And so that safety is coming down to take this tight end man-to-man. That's the call. Their call is, we're taking a chance. We're not going to have deep help in the middle of the field. We're coming after the quarterback right here on this edge, bringing a safety and dropping one down over the top. And if, honestly, if he comes free, then he's got a chance to get there before this play can get off. But he trips over the tight end. That to me is the thing that you probably have. Everything going on in the field we probably don't see, but it's pretty clear what the coverage is. Look at the safety over the top right here. Look at him coming off the edge. His deal is to come scot-free and just go flying back there and disrupt this thing. And as he goes down, the safety comes down, but he trips. And when he trips, he's got to get up and recover. He does, but by now Blake's got time to get rid of the football. If he doesn't trip, you're not throwing the ball right here without getting really popped as you throw it. So that's one thing to me, is the call. It's a very aggressive call. And you have a defender up top running man-to-man. And then down here, it's a 2-on-2. And when you go switch release, they're passing it off. Thompson comes in and goes vertical. Okay. Evans releases and goes out and stops. And so they're trying to pass this thing off. And that's why this corner wound up outside with Brennan Thompson running wide open down the middle. It's almost like their call was, we're going to take a gamble right here that we can disrupt the timing of this where you don't have time to throw it up the field. And because one guy trips and falls, you got time to throw it up the field. Perfect throw. And, everybody has talked about, the pressure. See, right here, you've only got a 4-man rush versus 6-man protection. 5 offensive linemen in the back. They're only bringing 4. It's just their 5th rusher hasn't gotten there. And he's coming so late. Again, it would require somebody passing it off to pick him up. The back's already gone the other way. It really is a physical job and protection here by the back, but it's pretty simple. He's staying in, and he knows it. Good job right there. This is almost kind of the viewpoint I had from our broadcast booth. When I see this right now, and see that I didn't see this coming off the hash live. All I saw was 6-man protect. They're only bringing 4. We got plenty of time. So once, I start there on the rush, I see them drop 2 out and rush 4. I'm thinking, now what's happening down the field? Well, I turn my eyes and look, and now the safety's gone. Like, he's not deep. It's just sort of a natural reaction to go, there's nobody back here. And when I saw that and I saw this, the first thing out of my mouth is, I went from here to here and went, throw it. And when he threw it, I'm like, that's touchdown. And doggone, because all you got to do with this kid, it's kind of like the first touchdown of the game with Anthony Evans. If I can get Brennan Thompson the football with the nearest defender 3 to 4 yards away in any scenario, whether it's out here, then he's going to win every time. And so when I see, like, if he catches it, it's house call. And it was. The nearest guy to him was the official. You get a look at the release right here. So they switch that off. Great job to go to the outside too. It's just, whether it's coached or it's instinctive, inside move right here, he kind of freezes back to the outside on the vertical. It's a great job. Here's this guy who they've got one last shot. They've gotten in field goal range with 30 seconds on the clock before already in this game in the first half. They've just got to go score a touchdown with 30 seconds. And they've got 2 timeouts. It's just they're starting on their own 25. So State only rushes 3 as you would, drop 2 guys or 3 guys deep. They move the pocket, and a fluttering throw out of his hand comes out funny, and Hunter Washington picks it off. So there's a couple of things on this to me. I looked and looked to see, and I noticed that Brock Osweiler, the television analyst, saw and tried to pick up the same thing. And it's like, did it get hit? It's almost as if it got hit. Because what you have is, as he moved the pocket, Silla, the transfer rush in linebacker from Texas A&M, one-on-one with their guy on the edge. And he's in his vicinity. It's a really good job of, individually just trying to make a play as he rolls your way. From that angle, there's no contact with his hand. It's not, so he didn't hit his arm. But when you look at the action of the quarterback, it's pretty clear to me that his eyes and his intention are either here or up the field here. And he's got, a couple of those options. He's not at all intending for that ball to go here. I guess there's a chance it slips, or maybe he just sort of hitches or hesitates because of a guy right there on his arm. And I can tell you, when you're throwing and you feel like your arm's going to get hit, it can have a kind of a short arm effect right here. But I think he might have actually gotten his thumb on the football. I think Silla might have actually gotten a thumb on it. At any rate, it goes to a teammate. There was another look in the broadcast. Let's see, right there. He's throwing laces. And it kind of comes out sideways. I can't tell if he touches it. I thought he might have gotten a finger on the football right there. But at any rate, it's a duck. Washington picks it, and ball game.